Welcome to ATN Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues, give them aggregate attention with a view to proper solutions that will benefit humanity. And today on Society Watch, our first issue is from Akwa Ibom State, where police now father for allegedly killing and burning his son's corpse. And on libel, Unizik ex-lecturer in jail for defamatory post on Facebook. From Bauchi State, police arrest a wife for killing 4-day-old stepson with insecticide. And lastly, from Abuja, FCTA to clamp down rickety vehicles, crush impounded motorcycles. These are the issues we'll be looking at today on Society Watch. And our guest for today is a social, political, and public affairs analyst. I will introduce him to you when we return from this break. Yes, sir. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and we have with us a social, political, and public affairs analyst, Chidi Okoro Esquire. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here once again.
It's good to have you. Okay, let's start our first issue from Akwa Ibom State. The Akwa Ibom State Police Command said it has arrested a man who allegedly killed his own son and burnt his corpse in Ebe, a village in SCN Udim local government area of the state. According to the command's public relations officer, SP Odiko McDonald, who spoke with journalists on Tuesday, the incident was reported at the SCN Udim Divisional Police Headquarters by the village head of the community, Chief Akman Aniekan, and the village council chairman, Sylvester Akman. SP McDonald told journalists they reported that one innocent Uko of Ebe Ikbe used a machete to kill his son, Boniface Innocent Uko, who was 26, burnt his corpse and dumped the remains in an abandoned pit toilet in his compound to conceal the act. On the strength of the report, the police operatives visited the scene and recovered the burnt corpse, now deposited at the mortuary. The suspect was arrested and has confessed to killing the deceased on the grounds of bad character and incessant harassment and embarrassment. Wow, I think this is about the most of bizarre things I have ever heard in recent times. That you kill your own 26-year-old son for bad character and causing you embarrassment and harassment, and you didn't just end at the point of killing him, you burnt his corpse. And in a bid to conceal the act, dumped his corpse into a pit toilet. Where do people keep their conscience? I really, really do not know where people keep their conscience. Chidi Okoro, what is your take on this?
I mean, it's very sad to hear that kind of incidents. It's very atrocious. Un-African.
Really?
I mean, in this modern time, what could have led to such? I'm happy the police is rightly involved right now, and they should do well to push the case further. Let him go and defend himself in court and tell us those embarrassment, the kind of level of embarrassment that would warrant you laying your hands to the extent of committing murder. Murder of not a far distant person, but your own biological son. You killed, you desecrate the body, burnt it, and finally put it into toilet abyss. Is quite un-African.
Really, I don't even know what to make of this. But let's look at the issue, according to him, that led to such an act, that his son has been causing him embarrassment. Now, if you want to discipline your son, is that the extent to which parents should go about, even if it's not your biological children? Because most often than not, we see that those who are not biological children get the most of the punishment. And so, even if this person is not your biological son, how far can you go to punish the person to the extent of killing, burning, and dumping the corpse in the pit? Really, let's talk about punishment and discipline.
Honestly, it's not discipline. That man needs to be examined. He has to be subjected to some psychiatric examination. Because it's no longer discipline. Is no longer, you can't even call it punishment. The person, something that have resulted to death, after making sure that the person is dead, you set the person ablaze so that he starts experiencing hellfire
while on earth.
While on earth.
Wow.
It's no longer, it's eternal punishment. It's unheard of. Unheard of. Your own son. What are they dragging? So that man needs to be subjected first and foremost to psychiatric examination. Let's find out whether he's normal at all.
Really, I think that is very important. We really overlook mental health issues in this part of the world. But again, the son in question is 26 years. One should expect that he should be able to defend himself in whatever way he could.
Yeah, when somebody attacks you unawares, it doesn't matter whether you're a giant, you could be taken down. Just one strike can take somebody down. So nobody knows the position of the young man. Perhaps this thing didn't take place. I don't know. The full report is not yet out. To me, all these things happened. Nobody heard of it until the discovery of the corpse in the pit toilet.
It's really, really
could have taken place at night. Yeah, so that perhaps the boy, I don't know, the boy was not in a position to defend himself, unless he's crippled. So, yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Wow, I mean, the issue of fatherhood is becoming one that's, I think there's a really big question mark right now, because some kind of character, some kind of act that we see fathers indulge in lately leaves one wondering, really, is this one worthy of being a father?
That is it. Most people, because they get their children on a platter of gold, they don't know the value. Perhaps he has up to 7 of them. So it doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter to him. He say, if this one goes, other ones are there.
Wow, that's all I can say. Well, I just can't wait to hear the end of this whole matter, that this matter, justice is truly, truly served. I don't know how justice is going to be served, but I really wish that justice will be served accordingly. It is very bizarre and un-African. It's not part of us. But let's go straight to our next issue on libel. A former lecturer in the Department of Chemistry at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, Peter Ekemezie, has been sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for publishing defamatory statements against one Professor Alex Asibo. Ekemezie, who was charged with 3 counts bordering on forgery and defamation, was, however, given an option of 300,000 naira fine. While delivering the judgment at an Oka Magistrates Court on Tuesday, His Worship E.C. Chukwu said he took into consideration the fact that the defendant has spent 1 month in a psychiatric home and 4 months in a correctional center. During the trial, Asibo told the court that Ekemezie forged his signature when he refused to give him a witness statement that instead advised him to procure a subpoena. Asibo said this led to Ekemezie writing and publishing a series of defamatory statements against him on Facebook and other social media platforms. Now, first of all, let's talk about social media because there's this urge in almost every social media user to put out something there to get traction. In fact, some people are monetizing their pages, so people are just looking for what to put out there that will get people's attractions, likes, views, shares, and all of that. But most times, people forget about the fact that other people also have rights, and in the course of putting out stuff over there, you also take caution not to defame any other person. But we see this happen most often than not. Now, he has got some months jail term, 6 months to be in jail because he defamed someone. What is your take on the way we use social media, especially to defame people?
Yeah, like you are pointing out, people are not cautious because the awareness is not there. People don't know. It's just that most Nigerians don't know their rights, and that is why a lot of things are taken for granted. It is because it happened at the elite echelon. That is why you see the man going to court. Every day you see defamation, you see perjury, you see character assassination. But because a lot of Nigerians don't know that such things could land somebody into prison. That's what they think. And not just that, we black people or Africans, let me say Africans, we are not, anything going to court, going to police, to us is going to the extreme. People would rather want to even go into jungle justice than going to settle, in court. And there's a perception we have about all this thing. That's why nobody have that time. And again, with what a lot of persons are being fed with, when you go to court, this thing, it will last 10 years. Within 10 years, you must have spent all your fortune. Nothing has happened. So these kind of things make people not to, seek redress in court. Yes. So, and I would wish there would be some form of advocacy where people will begin to enlighten people on their rights and caution persons to know that where your right begins is where another person's right ends. So people just, because like you rightly said, Facebook is there, you monetize.
One of the major campaigns we saw was with respect to misinformation and disinformation, but nobody really talked about the violation of human rights using social media. And now here we have this issue ended. But again, if you look at it, the young man in question was at the psychiatric hospital, which implies that he probably has some issues upstairs. So don't you think that must have pushed him to that light?
It appears to me that before now he was either being remanded. I don't know which state where this happened. It was either being...
Anambra.
Perhaps he was he has already spent these months. This falls under misdemeanor, so he has already spent these months. So his worship just deemed it fit. Okay, having spent already 4 or 5, let's slam him. It's at his discretion. So he slammed him just 6 months, or option of paying the fine of 300,000.
Now, talking about discretion, let's also look at some of the things that inform this discretion, because a couple of weeks ago, a TikTok user was sentenced to 3 years for defaming one Nollywood celebrity, Eniola Badmus. She was sentenced to 3 years. Now, we are saying this, well, although the judge did say that for some reasons they had to reduce his to 6 months. What do you think informs the discretions? Because I was looking at it like, it seemed like this sentence is heavier and then this one is lighter. What do you think informs those discretions?
No. For example, is like
reduce the rights of others, and so you always uphold the rights of others in whatever you were doing. And then if you, for any reason, decide to trample on anyone's rights, then you also know that you will go in for it. We'll go on a very short break, and we will be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. And the next issue we're looking at is from Bauchi State. A 24-year-old woman has been arrested for allegedly killing her co-wife's 4-day-old baby with an insecticide. This is disclosed by the Public Relations Officer of the Bauchi State Command, Ahmed Wakil, in a statement entitled 24-year-old housewife kills stepson in Ningi local government area, and made available to journalists in the state on Tuesday. The PPRO said operatives attached to Bauchi State Police Command have arrested Furera Abubakar, female 24 of Bantu Village, Ningi local government area of Bauchi State, for the offense of culpable homicide. The incident was reported to the Ningi Divisional Police Headquarters on the 19th of August 2023, which revealed that the 4-day-old baby was born on the 15th of August 2023 and was murdered by the suspect, Furera Abubakar, on the 19th of August 2023 before the naming ceremony. Preliminary investigation revealed that the suspect is a co-wife to the nursing mother, who is the victim's mother. The suspect entered the co-wife's room with insecticide liquid, bromelain, and applied it to the unhealed baby's umbilical cord. The liquid, which was suspected to be corrosively affected and led to the deterioration of the baby's health, eventually led to his death. Wow, that is all I can say right now. Wow, like, wow, a 4-day-old baby. We can't really say this baby has done anything whatsoever wrong to the stepmother in question. But we know very well that polygamy is part of our culture. And for those who believe in it, they do practice it. And most of them live peaceably, but some also live in some everyday physical, and we probably end up seeing issues like this. Now, it didn't seem like they had a fight leading to this. I don't want to say anything. Maybe anger, maybe envy, maybe jealousy. We don't know if she had her own children or something. But, I mean, do we transfer these aggressions on the innocent children? If we have issues in our polygamous marriages, do the children have to suffer for all of this?
Not at all. Not at all. That's why when going through this, I'm beginning to think whether we should actually begin to investigate whether some humans are actually humans or they are demons. Honestly, it's no longer, before there are certain news, when you hear it, it sounds like Nollywood movie. But look at it. They are reality. A 4-day-old baby. Why not go and fight the woman, your wife? Go and fight her. Instead of taking the life of an innocent baby. It's so sad. So sad. Of course, he has already gone in for it. And I just wish and pray that justice will be served very fast on this.
Wow, like very fast. I think I also pray that justice will be served very fast. But let's also look at it. Now, if you do a kind of you sample people's opinion in society, most people will tell you that polygamy is like a leeway to destruction. Most people believe that polygamy is the easiest way to destroy a man or maybe his family and all of that. But then it has always been part of our cultures. In the years back, when our great-grandparents were all alive, I mean, they all lived maybe not 100% happily, but they lived happily with their co-wives and all of that. What exactly is going on in this? Do we say that this can be attributed to civilization, modernization? What exactly, why are we losing the values, especially in polygamous families?
That's to tell you that certain traditions need modernization. Yeah. I think that polygamy has outlived its usefulness. It's not a thing of this age.
You think it had a usefulness at some point?
It had. It had.
Okay.
You know, we are like oral history told us that in those days certain communities encouraged it because they were very few and they had maybe perhaps landed properties. They don't want it to be inherited by strangers or by, their neighbors, rather to forcefully take it. Some also did that because they wanted, there weren't enough machineries. So human effort will be needed for farming and all the rest. So you can't go and borrow from your neighbor. So you have to produce your own. So how do you do that? You marry many wives so that you can, if you marry up to 4 and all of them give birth, can have like 20 or more children, and you have abundant human resources to make do with. So these are it was useful then. Yeah. So, and a lot of reasons where some men also do it to show opulence. That is how to know a very wealthy man. This man is wealthy, this man is strong and capable. You marry more than 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 wives. So that is it. So, but in this modern age, to me, it has, the usefulness has been outlived, and it has to be abolished, whether by any means. I've seen, even in the north, I've seen people there who are not married to many wives, even though their religion permits it. But by self-discipline or self-realization or whatever, they don't want to engage into that. I've seen them. I served in the north. It's not all of them that encourages some of those things. It's discretional to them. So even though it is a kind of, it's in their religion, it's their culture and tradition, but some persons, due to exposure, do not want to indulge into such. So these are the consequences.
But if you say it has gotten to the time where we need to change this tradition, are we going to lose all our values because we are trying to embrace modernization?
Well, you see, there is a whole lot of difference between tradition and value. They are not the same. Tradition can evolve, can change. And that is why, those of them in the social sciences, they will be able to distinguish between what is tradition and what is culture. They are not the same and one thing. So, the age, the generation in which people are could determine the tradition that should be inherent in that age or generation. Okay, let me come to this. Formerly, we are told that twins, it was a tradition to kill twins. But there come a time when people now understood that it's not relevant. The thing they are thinking is not it. People become knowledge. Bible says knowledge shall increase. When knowledge increased, people come to understand that it's rare for you to hear where such is being practiced now. Now, there are certain countries or tribes that also kill, is it albinos? So, but it's also reducing. So those things are tradition, they are not values.
Wow, this issue is very, very annoying and painful too. I don't want to imagine what the mother of the deceased is going to feel right now. But one would expect that if you have agreed for any reason to be in a polygamous family, well, they didn't tell us if the alleged killer is the first or the second. They didn't tell us the position of either of them, so we really do not know that detail. But if for any reason that you are going to consciously be in a polygamous family, shouldn't you know that there are some things you should handle?
That is it. Something was even, going through my mind. Some of these issues like this, if they want to judge it, or after the judgment, I think if there's a way, they would come down to the community before they pass this, or after passing sentence on the woman. Let others understand. Let others understand. And that is why religion has a lot to do in the society. But find out that the age in which we are, you talk, people don't hear. They hear, they don't understand. They don't understand. They see their consciences, they don't want to abide. It's a problem and challenge. Yes.
When I was talking about accepting the realities that come with polygamy, especially when you have decided to go into it, I also thought about the fact that, well, there are some cases where the man imposes this on the women, and the men rather impose this on the women, and forced to accept a reality that was never meant to be, at least to her, she probably might be pushed into doing any of those. Don't you think that might just be it?
Yeah, that is it. Some of those impositions could push them into these kind of heinous acts. And whatever way it is not justified, in either ways, it is not justified at all. To me, people should look inwards. Something that is not of this age should be abolished. It should be tactically abolished. It's no longer useful for the age.
Well, may the soul of the departed rest in peace, and we pray that God will strengthen the heart of the mother to bear all of this, and then justice also will be served. But let's go straight to our last issue from Abuja. The Directorate of Road Transport Services in the Federal Capital Territory Administration has said that it will crush all impounded motorcycles and prosecute owners of rickety vehicles and those operating illegal motor parks in the FCT. Head of Operations, DRTS, Mrs. Deborah Osho, who stated this in Abuja on Tuesday during an ongoing operation to rid the city of illegal motor parks, rickety vehicles, tricycles and motorcycles, said that the offenders would be prosecuted in line with the provisions of extant laws and regulations. Osho said that over 20 vehicles, 10 tricycles and 15 motorcycles were impounded for various offenses during the exercise in the Capital Territory. The main goal is to keep the city clean and free of rickety vehicles littering the streets of the capital city. Most of the commercial taxis, motorcycles and tricycles were constituting a nuisance in the nation's capital city. This is unacceptable. We are doing everything we can to address the problem, and we will continue to clamp down on all rickety vehicles and taxis operating illegal parks around the city, she said. The head of operations urged motorists in the city to be law-abiding and respect all traffic rules and regulations to ensure safer roads, clean city, and sanity in the capital city. Now, first of all, when I saw the issue of clamping down on rickety vehicles, the first thing that came to my mind is, what about those who cannot afford very good vehicles? Because, I mean, all fingers are not equal, like they say, and then there are some people who that is what they can afford, and then they use it for maybe their source of livelihood or for some other stuff. But what's your take on that?
A few years back, I was in Cameroon, Douala, Buea, in Cameroon. I noticed something. I was observing, or rather I observed the vehicles they use for taxi. I was so shocked and surprised to see that what we think about some of these West African or neighboring African countries is not what they are. I don't want to go into other things. I never saw rickety cars. What I saw, to the point that I couldn't even know that I was expecting the kind of cars we use here as taxis. But you see the ones we use as pleasure cars, private cars, that is the level of the cars they use over there for taxi. Very neat and clean. I said, don't they have this type of power? The one that by the time it passes, the smoke, you can use it to cause nuclear warfare, you know. By the time you pass through that, or you are even inside that car, you come out, you'll be smelling like rabbit. So, to me, if you are not capable of engaging into transport business, brother, sister, there are other businesses to do rather than endangering other people's lives, rather than endangering the masses. But the only aspect I want to say is, before you start impounding this, it's not a matter of, it's an extant law. How many people are aware of our laws?
Through the Sahara.
Give them time, give them
ICE gunmen on a kidnap mission arrested kidnapped victims to Logbogoro, as is
from
of the state on Tuesday,
and
15th August
you could start
the police intelligence investigation.
ticketing
These are the people that did it. That the police
one is in those days.
Team, that's how what they are called. Arrested member.
This vehicle was off road.
That is a sharp contradiction.
I don't know what they are still there. What they are doing, I don't know. The VIOs, they are the people who are supposed to be inspecting all these vehicles. It's not SAS people. It's not anti-cultism people that mount our roads, even Ozoba here, every day, checking on vehicles. That's not. So, these people whose duty is to check the health of the vehicle should wake up and begin to do their job. I think there is a way, a certain vehicle, when you are unfit for the road, either they ticket you, you go and fix what is wrong with your vehicle, bring it back to life. If it cannot, there should be a way of addressing that. That impounding and crushing should be the last resort. But in Nigeria, that's going to be the first thing to be done.
Now, when you talked about the VIOs, the first thing that came to my mind is the concept of on-road-worthy vehicles. And most times we see these vehicles just around, and you ask yourself, what exactly is happening? At some point, maybe, like you said, if these vehicle inspection officers are very active, they should know that these vehicles are not roadworthy. Now, can we have standards for our roads? Can we have standards where if your vehicle is in this certain condition, that vehicle should be off the roads? Can that even work in Nigeria in the first place?
There's nothing that cannot work when the government is serious. There's nothing that cannot work. But I want to attribute it that our leaders, the government, is not serious with certain things. They're only interested in the areas that would, produce and procure pecuniary incentives to them. That is where they are only. But things like this are where they're supposed to focus their energy. Rome was not built in a day, but Nigeria, in 1 million years,
we are building.
We're still building.
We are building, and we hope very soon that we'll get to that point where we can say, well, we are not 100% built, but we are. We've reached a very good extent. Now, let's also look at the crushing of impounded motorcycles and tricycles. Do you think that is the best option to go by?
We just do our own thing the other way around. You crush. When they impound, they crush, are they going to recycle it? Or let it just be that they have punished the owner? If it is, you crush it, there should be a process of doing this thing. Okay, Oga, this is what your vehicle, we are valuing it. We don't need it on the road again. It has come, the useful life has ended. This is what we are estimating your vehicle, valuing your vehicle is 50,000 naira. Government will give you 50,000 naira. And the vehicle will be crushed and recycled and put into. With that, it's okay. But you crush, go and dump somewhere, constitute another nuisance. That's not the best. So, they should have a rethink so that it won't just be doing the same thing, the same old way, and expecting a new result.
Now, on the issue of the illegal parks, the first thing that came to my mind was why should there be any in the first place if we were a lawful society and a very responsible one? Now, if we have a government that is in place and you have stipulated bus stops where these buses should be, stipulated parks where they should be, and then you realize that maybe at one point or the other, some others are parking indiscriminately, what should have been done at that point to the level that it grows up to become an illegal park?
when you hear illegal parks, I want to tell you that people empower them to be having those things. An individual cannot muster the courage to begin a park. Some of them are being encouraged also by people who are in government. Okay, as a kind of settlement. They start up their illegal parks here, begin to collect also one or two things. Whereas there is the legal ones. Another person will empower them. Okay, start from here. Be remitting, if you are collecting 100 naira a day, just be remitting 30 naira to us. Take the rest, you and your boys. That's the settlement you hear government used to do, empowerment. These are the things to set up illegal things most times. So the government can get some things right. It is in their hands to do. If they decide to do the right thing, they have the whole thing to achieve that. But most times, because they are culpable, that is why you see some of this. And when you see here, clamp down on those things. You clamp them down today after 1 week.
And that is our problem, because
yes,
it seems
because
we can't sustain this effort.
You can't sustain it because the persons who are also, blowing this thing for them is in the government there. That's how these things work.
And what can we actually do? Because it seems, this is the FCT, and I want to believe that this illegal parks is going to deface the city. And if anyone would expect that the FCT should be the most orderly place, most arranged place, most beautiful and all of that. But if the FCT is having some illegal parks, you would definitely know the things that come with illegal parks, loutings and all of that. So how can we put a check to all of this?
There's no problem. I'm glad our former governor is there now. They go hear him. So, who no go agree?
Interesting. If you're very confident, first of all, you look at River State, where he's coming from. Did he do amazingly well in that regard in River State? And then you now look at what he's going to do over there in Abuja. Is he going to replicate what he has done in River State in Abuja?
We are no longer talking of... we want to... Yes, he will replicate it. He has sounded a warning. And if you are building is where it's not supposed to be.
Now, you remember you also said that the reason this fight has not been successful is because there are some people in government who are also maybe benefiting from this illegality. So you think the FCT 001 is going to be able to handle all of this?
Definitely with the immediate past governor of River State, FCT will wear a new look.
Irrespective of those who are connected?
He's not going to mind those things. He has said it. So all eyes on him. We're expecting that he will not renege on what he said. We wish him the best.
Well, yes, we really look forward to that. But away from the FCT, let's look at our major cities in general. If you look at if you look at Lagos, if you look at some of the major cities, we see these illegal parks around. And they really do not look too good when you see them because, everyone does what they like to do and you can barely even know who is who in such environments. And you have said that all of these continue to thrive because we have some men who are in power, who are one way or the other encouraging all of this. Do you really think we can have a society where all of this, we might not have 100%, but to a reasonable extent, we will be able to defeat all of these menace?
If the will is there, it's achievable. But the problem is the will is not there. Because by the time you make a whole lot of promises because you want to ascend to an office, you enter there, you discover you won't be able to fulfill all these promises you made. Those boys will be the ones to be reminding you, okay, give us this side, leave this side for us. You say, okay, here, you say yes. They are the ones who will be suggesting some of these things. Because to you, at your level, you can't even be imagining that kind of a thing. But those ones who come to you, Oga, I won't start my park here. You ask, you say, now your land, you say no, but now I know the place. Okay, go ahead. By the time you monitor the thing, you see that this is going well, you have encouraged him. Another person will come for in their own community or domain. Oga, I won't start my own this thing here. I say, go ahead. All they need is your backing. You understand? Yeah, when you hear perhaps the government want to go and clamp on those, you give them information, but not clear. After 1 week, they will converge again and start. So that is the thing. It's making promises they cannot keep that brings some of these illegalities to force and to bear.
Well, we hope that our leaders can actually make us trust them by keeping to their promises and do the little they can do to make a better society for Nigeria. This is a much we'll take on today's program. Thank you so much, Peter, for
Thank you for having me once again.
And thank you, our viewers, for being out there. We hope you had a great time. I am Anita Obari. If you missed anything, you can follow us on our social media platforms: Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1. Do remember the peace and unity at the path to progress.